Good evening, everybody. Michael Soothing here. It's a chilly winter night, and I got the fire going again, so if you hear something in the background, that's what it is. The fireplace. Yeah, this is what you're hearing in the background. If you hear a little bit of snap, crackle, pop, or as we used to say when I was young and very immature, not that I'm mature now, pop, snackle, quap. Did you see that glowing ember down there? This is very warm. Look at that ember. You know, I tend to see faces in the embers also. All right, let's go back over to our paper because we don't want to neglect it too much, okay? And we have limited time, right? Now, when it gets close to Christmas time, holiday season, you know, there's that song, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. And I don't have any chestnuts roasting. But what I do have, hope that's not too loud, I have some walnuts. So I thought what I would do tonight is crack a couple, I'm not going to roast them over an open fire, but I am going to crack a couple of them and eat them while I do a short little reading to you from the local papers. I have a local paper from my hometown, but I also brought a little bit of the paper back from where I work. Silicon Valley, Palo Alto, where I do the rocket science, where a shack recently sold for $3 million. I don't know what's in this paper, but let's check it out. Turkey time, it says. So obviously, we did turkey time already. This is dated November 27th. So it came out, I think, a couple days ago. The Politics of Pot, a community conversation. You know, whenever you see that buzz term, I always wonder, no one ever comes to anyone in the community and asks for them to join the conversation, so why do they say that? You know, it's really just like city councilmen and busybodies and members of the PTA and things like that, but let's say what they see. Okay, it's late, you know, indulge me a little. Some people came together and shared their thoughts. Well, what were their thoughts? After the board rescinded their cannabis ordinance and reverted to stricter rules. So it'll be a little bit tougher now to get the pot that you say is for your back pain when you really just want to smoke dope with your friends, okay? No, I'm not judging anybody who needs it for their back pain and their glaucoma and all their other ailments. I think they should have access to it, okay? I'm just being a little facetious because we all know that 90% of the medicinal pot in this town is being used recreationally, okay? Can we be honest? No. Water Board approves a ratepayer surcharge. Now, isn't this ironic? Because we're in a drought and we're saving water like crazy since the Water Board told us not to waste a drop, they say, oh, now we're not making enough money because you're not using enough water for us to make our money. So we're going to give you a whopping surcharge. because you did the conservation we asked you to do. So use about a third of what you did before, and then we'll charge you a lot more. Right? Makes sense to me. All right, so, okay. They have a minimum. What am I leaning my hand? A big fancy coat over here. Do you drape your arm over things when you're talking? Don't you find it annoying when people do that? Like they're making themselves too much at home or something. Taking Thanksgiving dinner up a notch, it says here. I wonder how you do that. I haven't read this. I have not read this paper yet. Yeah, I promised you guys I would crack and eat a walnut while I'm doing this. So I hope this isn't too loud. Then I'll have to edit the sound down. Did I do that right, or did I just crush the walnut into little pieces? I think it's the second. Nonetheless, you know, I think that needs some salt. Do you mind if I go get the salt? Because I need that to boost my blood pressure up. It's not high enough. We'll crack another walnut, but we'll put a little salt on it. Just one moment. I'll edit out the part with me walking to the kitchen with no pants. Because this is not Halloween, and I don't want to scare anybody or anything like that. Let me try cracking another walnut, and then we'll continue. Wow, that's going to be really loud. I am going to have to edit. There was nothing in that one. I'm going to show you if I can. It was an empty shell. Empty shell with nothing in it. That's pretty weird. Like some kind of walnut that had desiccated and gone away. Okay, here's one that's already cracked a little bit, and I see there is a walnut in there. So I won't be so disappointed if I can get this one. Oh, I think I got one intact, everybody. I'm so excited. Can someone explain to me how you can have a walnut shell with no walnut inside? I find that disturbing. Does that mean there was a worm eating it or something? Do I need to inspect these now? Oh well, I don't know. There was no hole or anything. Anyway, I'll eat this one while we talk about the paper. Well, how did they take Thanksgiving up a notch? Let's see here. Time to make my holiday dinner have more oomph. She talks about strawberry cream cheese jello. Yeah, that's really good, but I don't know how to make it. So I'll just save the recipe. You know, I did the whole Thanksgiving dinner by myself this year for the kids. And I must say, it actually turned out okay. Either that, or they're all lying to me about it. To save my feelings, California tenants push for rent control. Well, I can understand their point of view because it costs about $3,000 a month now to rent a little studio apartment. But in this area, let's crack another walnut, and then I'll edit out the sharp crack sound. My goodness. But when you have rent control, what that really means is the person in the apartment, what it really means around here is you will never find anything to rent ever again if you're coming from out of the area. These walnuts are sparse. I'm not sure I got a good batch. But they sound nice, don't they? I'm going to have to read the label now. See where these came from. California grown in shell walnuts. We have good nut trees in California, so I don't know what the problem is here. Maybe the problem is I need a sip of water. The air is very dry right now. Arctic air mass came down from up in northern Canada. State recommends wild game turkey for Thanksgiving. California Fish and Game says that wild turkey is one of the healthiest birds to serve on your and hunting season has just opened. You know, I live in basically a city area with some rural land around it. And even though the populace is spreading around here, the wild game has made a huge comeback. For the first time in my life, I'm not going to tell you how many decades I've been living here, the last 2 years I've been seeing wild turkeys everywhere. So of course coyotes are going crazy, the deer population is exploding also, and so are the mountain lions. Supposedly they were going to be squeezed out and, be endangered, but instead they're making a big comeback. And what they like about this area is if they can't find a baby deer or a turkey, they just snag somebody's little dog, which is really sad to think about because I love animals, unless it's a barking terrier, okay? In which case I would tell the mountain lion, also known as cougar, please eat as many barking terriers as you possibly can, all right? In fact, you have a quota, all right? Anyway, they say that the wild turkey is got a lot less fat and is a lot better for you. And if that's the case, then I would say they probably don't taste as good, but but they do taste good. I want to have one sometime. So here is the dispatch log, the crime report here. Let's see what naughty things people have been up to. I'm not going to tell you what naughty things I've been up to, only what others do. 48-year-old male arrested for trespass and obstruction at a business. They don't give us any other details. A 59-year-old female arrested for a warrant. A 20-year-old male arrested for burglary. They're not giving us any details at all. Let's see. 29-year-old arrested for displaying a false registration with the intent to commit a crime. Now, how does displaying a registration... never mind. 20-year-old female under the influence of a controlled substance. And she had paraphernalia. I'm not sure about these paraphernalia laws. How does anybody know what you're doing with a little glass pipe? I guess it's a little obvious, isn't it? 25-year-old male arrested for conspiracy to commit a crime. 34-year-old female also conspiracy to commit a crime. They were arrested together. This crime report is bogus. They're not telling us anything. I'm just going to scroll ahead for it, see if there's anything at all that's interesting. Nope. Really nothing. Okay, so we'll skip that. Second chance on Prop 47. I guess we're going to vote on something here. But what is it? An initiative that allows those with low-level felony records to be reclassified as misdemeanors, so that they can continue to rape and maim and pillage. Oh wait, that's not what it says. It says so they can have opportunities to have employment and housing and education. Okay, so all I can say is I hope they're not violent crimes that are being reclassified. Did I show you before? This is the place I go sometimes to get my coffee, the Coffee Cat. They have mugs and car travel thermos, with their Coffee Cat logo on it. I think I've bought about 20 of those in my life, but the dishwasher seems to eat them because they always vanish. It's one of those mysterious things, like, when your socks disappear in the laundry. Well, this is really sad because we had a beloved cat, and she looked just like this one, this pet of the week. Okay, so her name was Wendy, and she basically died of old age last year. She was quite an angry feral cat, about 20% tame, I'd say. So if you reached out to pet her, sometimes she would purr, and sometimes she would just rip your hand off and draw blood and hiss and things like that. So kind of depended on her mood, Have you ever known any people like that? Infants and adults can die of the flu. Well, I think we knew that. But here's some good advice that the people at my work should hear when it comes to the flu. Cover a cough or sneeze with a tissue and dispose of it properly. I've got a guy at work that's been coughing, and he sounds like he's got a whooping cough. And he's about 3 or 4 aisles down from my office. And it drives me insane hearing him cough and sneeze all day. I keep thinking, am I breathing this diseased air? So, I've been taking vitamin C. I'm a little OCD, anal retentive about catching diseases. That's why I hate to fly. Let's see, sports, local boy makes good, doing something, who knows what. He went to Stanford. Well, good for him. Classified as adult personals? I had no idea we had those in here. Find the love you deserve. Do we deserve love, or is that earned? I'm not sure. Maybe you can tell me. Senior living, a place for mom. It's the name of a business for, placing older people like a home. But why do they call it a place for mom? What about dad? Do we just send him off on an ice floe, like the Eskimo? I actually don't think that's too bad of an idea. Send me off on an ice floe if I start to get senile, all right? so that I don't turn into someone else inadvertently. Man and Woman Business of the Year. Well, I know you're fascinated to know who the Man and Woman Business of the Year is. Somebody named Trubeck, San Lorenzo resident, dedicated community advocate. What is a community advocate? Are you advocating that we have a community? Because we kind of do already. All right, so she was in various nonprofits. Okay, that's good. No, I don't mean to denigrate anyone who got a high honor, because I'm certain they deserved it. I think it's time. By the way, I'm also taking these cinnamon pills here. Cinnamon, and this is good for metabolizing blood sugar. And I'm taking a medication that's supposed to help my short-term memory, and I can never remember the name of it, but if it comes to me, I'll tell you. I've only relearned it 87 times now. All right, let me think. Nope, can't remember it again. But anyway, I'm taking the cinnamon capsule form. I don't know if it's really good for you or not, but what I do know is your breath smells like cinnamon afterwards, very sweet. So there's also an urban rumor that if you take cinnamon, you know what, I'm going to pass on that story. Maybe cover that in some other video. And since I am struggling a tiny bit with my short-term memory, I got this stuff called memory maintenance. Let's see what it says is in it. It's got dicalcium carbonate and cellulose. Wait, isn't that like wood pulp? You know, they're grinding up paper to put into my supplement. Magnesium stearate and silica. Silica? That's the little packets they put in electronics to keep the, moisture content low. It absorbs the water vapor content. That doesn't sound like a very good supplement to me. Non-GMO. Oh wait, here we go. It's got flavonoids and stuff. Non-GMO sunflower and blueberries. Okay. So it does have something good in it. All right. Someone told me to get vitamin D3. Someone I respect their opinion, but not the lanolin kind. Get the kind that's made from lichens, the vegan kind, because the lanolin could give you leg cramps and doesn't work as well. Let's crack another one of these. Oh, I think I did it right that time. Instead of breaking the whole walnut, I think I did that properly. And, yes, got a nice walnut. Got to salt it a little bit. This is it's not actually, I actually have in here a low salt substitute. It has some sodium, but much lower than normal, and then it has potassium in it, which I need to prevent leg cramps. I'll take that part out. That one's a good one. All right, so here's my little Palo Alto paper. This is called the Post, the Daily Post, Palo Alto. Safeway holdup fails. Unable to get into the safe. This is probably one of those Darwin Award winners, you know. San Mateo police, 2 men barged into a Safeway manager office, held the employee at gunpoint, demanding the store safe combination. but of course the employees did not know the combination. So the men fled the scene, empty-handed. The robbery only lasted 10 minutes. Transients operate a coffee cart. I guess the news in Palo Alto is no more exciting than my local news. Teens accused of a string of break-ins. Where were they breaking into? Los Altos police arrested 2 teens, 15-year-old and a 17-year-old. Suspicion of burglary. Where did they find them? Caught on video kicking in the door of an Italian delicatessen at 1 a.m. What did they think they were going to find in an Italian deli at 1 a.m. as far as money? Or were they just looking for a salami? Okay. Anyway. Oh, here we go. Suspect acts as own lawyer. You know, there's a phrase that applies to that phenomenon. And the phrase goes like, in the legal world, and it goes like this. A man who acts as his own attorney has a fool for a client, okay? So let's see what he was accused of. A 3-strikes offender facing life in jail for assaulting his girlfriend and her 5-year-old son. I'm not going to make a joke about this because I sat on a trial once where a juvenile was abused in more ways than one. Let's just say I don't think there's penalty enough in the legal code as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to pass on reading any more of that story. But I'm glad he's acting as his own attorney because he is certain to get put away for a long time. Is your earthquake insurance all it's cracked up to be? I believe this was Oakland after the 1989 Loma Prieta. The building did not, that car did not fare well by that building when it came down. I remember that earthquake so well. I was walking into the front door at the time, 5:03 p.m., Game 5, I think it was, of the World Series, up at Candlestick Park. I can't believe that annoying refrigerator is going to come on now. It only makes this noise once in a while. The earthquake, I had my young at the time 7-year-old son with me, raising him as a single dad. And the earthquake began just as we were pulling the front door open. And I proceeded to see things flying out of cupboards and falling over. It was quite a sight. The place never did quite recuperate from that. Let's see if the Palo Alto police blotter is any more interesting than the local one. A transient cited for alcohol. Gee, that's a shock. Someone furnished alcohol to a minor. I was nowhere near there, okay? Wow. 3 different people cited for furnishing alcohol to a minor. Someone resisted arrest. A gift card was stolen from a mailbox. Check your mailbox as soon as the mail arrives, is my advice. Home burglary. A window vandalized. That probably means broken. Another home burglary. DUI arrest. Lots of those. I don't see anything very interesting in this one either. Oh. Here's one. 6:30 p.m. Two friends were drinking together, and the man mistook the woman's actions. She said no, and he backed away, but police were still called. I guess we're supposed to read between the lines on that one. Obviously, she didn't want to have a romantic relationship, being plied with alcohol or not. And he did. Okay, so person arrested for drunken, blah blah, non-injury hit. Let's see. Someone fell off. A resident received a samurai sword as a gift, but didn't want it with kids in the house, so it was turned into police for destruction. Couldn't he have just given it to me instead? He turned in a sword for destruction. Doesn't make any sense. You can sell it on eBay or Craigslist. Alright, so anything else here? I don't see anything. Paraphernalia. Complaint of a barking dog. Well, you know, that was probably me, but I told you I don't like those terriers that bark all day, even though I'm a pet lover. Give me a cute corgi or something, you know, but no terrier. Nice golden lab, you know, a friendly dog that's man's best friend. Retriever, something like that. Talk of the town. Do you suffer from tired, swollen legs? It says there. Do you suffer from that? Do you have spider and very close veins? I mean varicose veins, not very close. We can do this, that, and the other thing. Well, I don't have those maladies. I probably will sometime, but let's hope not. Something about caregivers and this and that. I'm bored with this paper. Isn't there something else I can read? Aren't you bored with this paper? Look, I have an ad for $20 off to get Omaha steaks. Should I get some of those? How do you cook a steak that's like 1 foot thick anyway? I don't know how you get that right. How do you make it cooked and still tender? You know, if it's, you know, as thick as the Hoover Dam wall. I'm going to have another walnut, speaking of walls, and then we'll call it a night, because it looks like we're 30 minutes into this monologue tonight. And since there was nothing of real interest, hopefully I've succeeded in at least putting you to sleep. Obviously I have no idea how to properly crack walnuts, but I'm still getting the walnut meat out. I've never done these before, not since I was young. And so I got all the little walnut meat though, although it was a little bit of work. Little potassium salt. Yummy. Chase that with a little water. And then we'll say goodnight. And I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday weekend. Oh, that's good. Even on a cold night, I love ice cold water, especially if it's Dasani water. I should make them pay me an honorarium or something for giving them a pitch like this. But see, doesn't that look pure and, spring-fed and everything? Probably comes out of a city tap somewhere, and they're just fooling us. Bottled by the Coca-Cola Bottlers Association, Atlanta, Georgia. I'll bet it's just water that's run through a filter. Yep, it is. I was right. I've never read the label on this. Purified. See, this is how boring we are tonight. We're reading water labels. Purified water, and they put some minerals in here to give it a good flavor. Make it taste like the water you're drinking from a spring in the mountains. Magnesium sulfate, potassium chloride. Wow, who knew? Minerals added for taste. Purified by reverse osmosis. Not forward osmosis, but reverse osmosis. Get it right, will you? Okay. I have to have another swig of that. All right, everyone. Take care, and as usual, you know my advice. My voice is getting scratchy now. Cold, dry air. Don't ASMR and drive. Good night, everybody.